Hey everybody, how you doing? Mark here, standing in my kitchen, ready to make ketchup? That's right. Yes, that's right. We are going to make our own ketchup. Now, I know a lot of people out there are going, why would you want to do that? Ketchup is cheap. You can buy it at the grocery store for just a couple of bucks and you got a good sized bottle. It's because of our low sodium diet that we're trying to adhere to. And I tell you, we've tried several ketchup recipes, but this one is by far the best. Okay, so if you want a low sodium ketchup, this is it. Got everything on the counter? Come on, I'll show you what we need to do. All right guys, here's everything we're gonna need. We will need a pot to simmer everything in. I've got a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. So just a standard small little can of tomato paste. Got a can opener, of course, to open the can, and a spoon to dig it all out. I've got corn syrup. You can substitute honey if you want, if you don't want the sugar of corn syrup. Honey is a good substitute, but you gotta remember, honey also has a flavor. So if you make it with honey and you don't like the flavor, you might wanna try just regular corn syrup. Or you can even make a simple syrup, which is a 1-to-1 ratio of water and sugar mixed together, brought to a boil, and then cooled. Okay, that's a simple syrup, and it can also make a good substitute for corn syrup. I will need a 1/2 cup of the corn syrup. Now I've got 2 vinegars here. I'll need a 1/2 cup of vinegar. You can use white distilled vinegar if you'd like. Go with a rice vinegar. You can do that too. It's a good neutral flavored vinegar. But I actually like using cider vinegar, so I think I'm going to use my cider vinegar today. I need a 1/4 cup, right there, of water. I don't have the water in there yet, but that's what it's meant to represent, is just a 1/4 cup of water. I need 1 tablespoon of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and just a mere 1/4 teaspoon of both garlic powder and onion powder. You don't use garlic salt in onion salt, okay? It's garlic powder, onion powder. All right, so let's just get into this. I got my tomato paste here. I'm just gonna take my spoon and scoop out the tomato paste. All right guys, I got my light corn syrup. Need a 1/2 cup. I'm going to measure out my apple cider vinegar here. 1/2 cup there. All right, got my 1/4 cup of water, so I'll put that in. 1 tablespoon of white sugar. My 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And my 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. All right guys, we're going to just stick this on the stove top, put it on medium heat. For me, that's about a 5 on my dial, okay? And then we're just going to bring this up to a boil. Once it reaches a boil, we will cut the heat down and simmer it for about 20 minutes. But we want to sit here and stir all this together and make sure that the tomato paste is all integrated well and everything's nice and smooth. We just want to make sure we keep stirring this as it's heating up, just to make sure that the tomato paste goes completely smooth and we don't have big lumps of the tomato paste. So just keep on stirring. This is what you're looking for, guys. It's pretty much smooth. I see a few small little pieces in there, but again, as it's coming up to a boil, those will break down. All right, guys, so you can see that I've come up to a boil. So I need to turn my heat down. I'm going to go all the way to basically 1/2. But just because we turn down the heat doesn't mean you stop stirring, okay? You got to remember, there's a lot of sugar in here from the corn syrup, and even the tomatoes themselves have a lot of sugar to them. So you gotta keep stirring it. And in fact, you might want to change out your wooden spoon maybe for a rubber spatula so you can really scrape the bottom of the pot. We're going to do this for 20 minutes. All right guys, so I've been simmering this for about 10 minutes now. So we're halfway through, and you gotta keep stirring, okay? You cannot really let this sit. So you gotta sit here. That's the only downfall of this recipe. You gotta sit here and keep stirring it, otherwise your sugars are gonna burn. But the consistency is looking good. It's looking real good. Smells wonderful. And as you can see, I switched to a spatula here, so I can really scrape down the sides and scrape the sauce off the bottom of the pot as I'm simmering here. There we go, 20 minutes guys. Turn off my heat. I'll actually set this on the back burner, but I tell you, this is a wonderful looking sauce. It's reduced down, thickened up, great. And it will even thicken more as it cools. I didn't get anything burning on the bottom of the pot. This is good. So I'm gonna just let this sit here and cool down, and then we'll get it into a bottle. All right guys, so I was trying to figure out what I could do about the ketchup and how I could try it out, and I realized I've got leftover meatloaf. So yeah, I'm gonna heat up some meatloaf for my lunch today, and even the ketchup sauce that's on the meatloaf was actually made with that low sodium ketchup. But I'm just gonna nuke this off to warm it up, and then we'll put a dollop of the ketchup on there and see how it tastes. All right, so there's my reheated meatloaf. I'm just gonna reach in here and grab a little dollop and put it right on. There, just like that. All right, there we go guys. Homemade ketchup on leftover meatloaf. Yeah, I know, but how does it taste, right? I gotta tell you, this ketchup tastes just as good, if not better, than the store-bought stuff. Oh man, that is so good, and it's so easy. The hardest part is literally standing there and stirring the pot for 20 minutes. That is the hardest part about this ketchup recipe, but it is awesome. You cannot tell a difference between this and the store-bought, and this is low sodium. You gotta try this guys, this is great. That is awesome stuff. So simple. Don't have to dice up anything, don't have to cube up anything. It's just simmering it in a pot until it's thickened. Really, that is it. All right, so this is Mark saying thank you so much for coming into my home and letting me show you a new recipe. Low sodium ketchup. It's a bomb. It really is. So easy to make. There's just no reason not to make it. This is Mark saying always believe in yourself. Heart, mind, soul, body, always believe in yourself. Always believe that you can do stuff like that. It's not that hard. Bye guys.